I'm live. Good morning. Good morning, students. Thank you all for joining me this morning. My name is Erin, and I'll be leading you through your class. I'd just like to give you a reminder. So at any time, if you want to rest today, you're welcome to rest. At any time, you can drink your water. If a pose that I am cueing doesn't feel right for you this morning, you can always modify it, change it in a way that makes it right, or just skip it altogether. I want this next 75 minutes to be exactly what you need, and you're going to have to help me out a little bit with that to really find that within yourself as we move through. All right. So most of us are lying down in class. You're welcome to stay there. You could also start seated. I'd like to invite you to find any place that feels right for you this morning, to just start to find the earth and to start to find your breath. If you're seated, you might choose to sit back on your heels with the legs folded in front of you, on a block or a pillow, in any way that makes you feel nice. And once you've found your position, you'll allow your eyes to float closed. And start to breathe in and out through our nose. Inhaling down into your belly. And then exhaling here. Taking long, even breaths in and complete breaths out. Continuing at a pace that feels right for you. Giving yourself some time to let go of anything that happened this morning. Anything you have planned for later on. And just allowing yourself to be in the moment. Inhaling belly to chest. And then just exhaling it away. We'll take 2 more breaths this way. And then on our next round, we'll start to bring an activation in with our exhales. So we'll still inhale to fill up. To exhale, the pelvic floor starts to lift and the lower belly draws slightly in. Relax that effort. Breathe into your belly, into the side ribs. And to exhale, the pelvic floor lightly draws up and the lower belly lightly in. This is a belly bonfire breath. It's similar to an ujjayi breath, except we're not bothering to constrict the back of the throat. So just let your throat be as it is, and only applying the root lock, Mula Bandha, and then adding on your abdominal lock, your Uddiyana Bandha. These 2 things together help strengthen your core from the deepest inside core muscles. And it also can help remind you to work with a tall posture, not only as you're on your mat today, but as you continue outside those doors to keep your spine nice and healthy. We'll take 2 more this way. And 1 more time. This time as you exhale, pause at the very end. Just notice that space at the low spine. Notice that little bit of support. And then we'll just breathe in and out through the nose a few times, just normally. And just noticing any subtle changes that have already started to happen for your state of mind, maybe in the heart space. Beautiful. Wherever you are, let's inhale and stretch both arms up overhead. So if you're reclined, they're actually reaching back. So you just get that full stretch through the ribs. And as you exhale, we'll take the hands to cover the heart, right palm over the heart and left palm over the right. Taking just a moment to find that you that resides deep within, Honor yourself here. And then we'll honor each other by uniting our voices in the sound of Om to mark the start of our practice together. We'll take one breath to prepare. Inhale. And let it be. And inhale for your Om. That was simply beautiful. I hope you all have a great practice. Let's open up our eyes and start to make our way into a tabletop position. Now, most of you are lying down, so feel free to take a moment to get there. You can stretch a little, draw knees to chest, give yourself a little squeeze as you gently make your way there. And whenever you arrive, there's absolutely no rush. You'll just start to warm up the sides of the ribs. Knees will land underneath hips. Hands are either under shoulders or a little bit further away if your wrists are a little less flexible. We'll start to take the right shoulder towards the right hip and just press back a little bit. And then when you're ready, you can inhale through center and exhale, wag to the other side. And just starting to feel the side ribs separating away from each other a bit down into the hip there. Inhaling through center and exhaling to one side. And your elbows can start to bend maybe a little bit more each time as you get slightly warmer. And let's just finish up one more to the left and let yourself be even if you need to get one more round in to find that left side. Then once you're ready, we'll come to the middle. Couple cows and cats here. We'll inhale, arch and look up. And exhale, round and curl. We'll get several more. Inhaling. And exhaling. Let's get about 3. Every time you curl, maybe more energetically pressing finger pads to the floor. And every time we round, shoulders draw away from each other. And one last one. Big curl. Coming into a hovered or a balanced table here, we'll take the right foot, extend it back. You can flex your toes and keep them on the floor for a moment. Let's just rock back and forth a little bit to begin with. So we're warming up the back of the foot, warming up the calf. Shoulders are warming up a little bit here. And then we'll make our way into balanced table as you're ready, taking that leg up strongly. So again, we want to lift that pelvic floor in and up, belly draws in. Gaze can come straight down to earth. If you'd like to make this more challenging, you can reach the opposite arm forward. We're going to find some dynamic movement to begin here. Inhale long. Exhale, curl just knee or knee and elbow draw in. Several more. Inhale long. And exhale, invite that curl. Inhale and exhale. For another 5 today. Another 4. As you continue, if your hand needs to find the earth, totally fine. Last few. One more here. Awesome. We're going to come back to where we started. Reach your foot in your hand. Pause. Hand can come down if needed. One more breath in. And as you exhale, hand and knee find the earth. Let's now take our right hand and sweep it up to the sky. Maybe make a fist and roll it out. We were putting a little pressure on that hand there, so just give it some love. And then we'll stop that action. Just reach up nice and long, still in your hand. Exhale, we'll thread the needle, twist it through. Inhale, unwind, reach for the sky. And exhale, twist. Give yourself one more. Inhaling, open it up. And exhale, landing here. So we're trying to take the right shoulder and cheek towards the floor. Hips are stacked over knees. You can keep your other hand where it is. Or if you'd like, you can start to reach your left arm energetically forward, tenting your fingers maybe a little bit so you can get a little extra traction, and just breathing into the ribs. 3 breaths in and out. 2 more. And 1 more round here. Nice. Let's slide that left hand back under the shoulder. Next natural inhale sweeps the arm up. And then exhale, let it circle down to earth. And we'll try the other side. So we're sliding the left leg back, curl the toes under. And maybe we rock back and forth a bit to warm up the toes and the calf. Keeping your pelvic floor lightly engaged, lower belly lightly engaged. Bringing it into our balanced table position as you're ready. Lift that leg strongly back, toes point down to earth. Continue to find that deep core strength and maybe reach opposite arm forward. Big inhale here. Exhale, curl and tuck. Let's continue. Inhale. Exhale. Just linking movement with breath, going at your pace for another 4. 3 more. Last 2. And last 1. Good. Let's come back to stillness. Hold the pose. Don't hold the breath. 1 more breath here. Final in-breath, get long. Exhale, knee and hand land to the earth. Awesome. Let's take that left arm, sweep it out to the side and up. Make a fist, give your wrist a little love, warming up the forearm. More tightly you squeeze your fist, more you're going to feel this show up in the forearm here. And then we'll just still the hand, reach it up nice and big, and exhale, thread it under. Let's get a few more. Peel open and thread. 1 more. And you just go at your pace, and then you'll land. Maybe the opposite arm reaches towards the front of the mat. It doesn't need to, whatever feels best for you. And as we go through class today, don't worry about if you're completely in sync with anybody else. I'd rather you flow to the beat of your own drummer here and just go as fast as your breath. We'll be here for another few moments. About 1 more breath. When you're ready to come on out, right hand slides under the shoulder. Inhale, sweep the left arm up even higher this time, and exhale, it circles back to the earth. Knees come out wider. Big toes start to touch. Let yourself press back towards trials. Maybe swinging the hips over to one side for a moment, through center to the other. Just loosening the hips up a bit. And then when you're feeling more open and ready, you let yourself sink back, settle into your child's pose, maybe even getting a few extra wiggles in there as you arrive. And if it isn't comfortable to spread the knees this way, you could always take your knees together. That's another lovely way to do your child's pose. Not only does the knees together option back off hips, but it gives a lovely support for your lower back. And we'll just be here. This is a great place to land and kind of reconnect to breath and earth. You're welcome to rest here anytime. We'll be here for another 4 breaths. 3 more. Last 2. And final 1. All right, let's come back up to hands and knees as you're ready. We'll now curl our toes underneath. We're going to play with a hovered tabletop position. So we're really going to grip those finger pads into the floor and just lift your knees about an inch or two off the ground. You can start to press your way a little bit forward and back here and just play that edge. Really gripping fingers into the ground, lower belly hugs in, pelvic floor nice and strong. From here, start to press the hips back more and more and more so your shoulders are well behind your wrists. And start to very gently lift the hips up now into a downward facing dog. And you never need to straighten those knees out completely. In fact, probably not very comfortable to completely straighten them out. You want to definitely start here by bending one knee at a time and just kind of loosening things up. Stretching out one side a little more and then the other. Your hands can come wider than shoulders if it's not feeling so comfortable here. And you can also give yourself more space in the shoulders if you need by letting your hands turn out. So middle fingers don't necessarily have to point forward here. Take one more breath, just pedaling it out. And then we'll start to find some stillness in our downward facing dog and we'll bend the knees. As you lengthen through your spine, we're backing off the hamstrings here. Take another big inhale. And exhale. Final breath. Synchronized sighing, I love it. Let's inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Exhale, walk your feet right on up to the hands. We'll find a half lift as we breathe and hands anchor to the shins. The belly is very strong to support you. Exhale, soften and fold. Let's do that 2 more times. As you inhale, roll to that half lift and notice all the strength you feel here. And then opposite to that, exhale, completely fold down and soften. Last time, inhale, find your strength. And exhale, balance it with a softness and fold. Now maybe you just sway a little side to side. Shake your head no. Or maybe you need to remind yourself to say yes to something that you've been kind of a little afraid of. So you just nod your head yes instead. If this is a too deep fold for you this morning, let your forearms rest on your thighs. Give yourself a break. Treat yourself kindly. Whichever way you want to be works for me. It needs to work for you. Last 2 rounds. One more round of breath here. All right, let's come all the way up. Inhale, rise to extended mountain. We're going to stay here, reach the arms up, and then kind of slide the shoulders down the back. You can lift the gaze slightly, but you don't want to crane the back of your neck, so you might just look forward. Feel the front spine lifting up energetically, creating space for the back spine. One more big inhale. And exhale, hands come to heart. Let's find Sun Salutation A. Inhale, arms stretch tall. Exhale, bow down, soft knees. Half lift on the in-breath. Exhale to down dog, hands plant, walking on back. Let's wave our plank here. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, pick up the hips, roll and wave into plank. We arrive and breathe in. Exhale, lower slowly all the way down to earth, thighs, belly, chest. Tuck the chin, inhale to cobra. Exhale, press up into this modified plank and then to downward facing dog. Take a breath in and out. 2 more breaths. Feet can be still or they can pedal out. 1 more round. Let's inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Exhale, walk your feet right on up to the hands. Inhale, halfway strong. Exhale, fold and soften. Let's come all the way up, extended mountain rise. Press to the feet, maybe look up. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. We're going to come into some fun with our chair today. Let's take the feet hips width apart. As soon as you plant those feet, you start to find mountain pose, drawing energy through the inner legs. Feel the belly strong. We'll take the arms up overhead, and as you exhale, we'll sit the hips back to chair. Arms are going to reach forward. So you want to make sure you can see your toes here. Picture a little belt pulling your hips back. We're going to get a little fiery today. We're going to take a breath in. Exhale, stand tall, fists in. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha draws in. Inhale, exhale. In and out. Last few here. You can continue with this, or to add a little challenge, next time lift the heels as you stand. First one throws me off every time. That time it was the second one. And another 3. Another 2. Another 1. Ooh, and then sit back down in chair. Now the arms are going to come out a little bit more, so we're trying to not only strengthen the upper back, but create some space between your ears and your arms. Hips draw back. We're here for another breath. If you want that last hurrah moment, maybe you try to lift the heels here. Woo! Guys look amazing. Last breath in and out. Wow. Let's inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold it down. We'll rest in our ragdoll or whatever fold feels right for you. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows and just letting yourself sway a bit. Or of course, if that's feeling a little too much and you just need some extra support, forearms come right onto the thighs. Let your eyes be closed. All that was in the past now, so we're just letting it all go. Last round here. Let's release our grip. Inhale, strong half lift. Exhale, down dog. Hands plant. Walk it on back. Let's find our waved plank again. We'll bend the knees in preparation on the in-breath. Exhale, try to pick the hips up and roll. Stay here for your inhale. As you exhale, knees down and all the way to the floor, or chaturanga hover here. Shoulders are higher than the elbows. Inhale either to cobra or up dog, and exhale, flip it up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take a breath and let it go. Right leg reaches to the sky, 3-leg dog. Maybe you play and come up and down on the ball of the left foot a few times, stretching out the foot, and maybe even getting a deeper hamstring stretch on the right. Take another big inhale, and as you exhale, knee draws into the chest, keep it high, curl. One more, inhale it up there. Exhale, draw it forward, pause there, step to your hand. We're making our way up into Crescent Lunge. Back heel will stay lifted. And just start to lift yourself up. You want to make sure that your feet are on train tracks here. Hips are facing forward. We're going to bring our arms forward. Inhale, open them up. Maybe gaze lifts slightly. Exhale, curl knee dips. Get 3 more. Inhaling and exhaling. Last 2. It's like you're treading water in the ocean here. Last one. Good. Let's lift the arms up. Exhale, shoulders draw down right away. Zip up that deep core. We'll be here for another few. One more here. We're going to add a side bend. So you'll take your right hand down to the hip. Inhale a little longer through the left. And then exhale, reach up and over to the right. Looks good. Last few. One more. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale to runner's twist. We'll take the hands to the floor. And if you've got a block, you'll put it right underneath your left hand. And then sweep your right arm up to the sky. Now your gaze might look up to the sky. But if you need more stability, it might look to the side or down. In either case, you want an intentional gaze here. That focal point is your drishti. It's going to help calm the mind and help you stay more balanced. Last in-breath. Exhale, both hands frame the front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. And let it go. Other side. Left leg sky high. Maybe up and down on the ball of the other foot. Press all fingers into the floor. Getting nice and juicy in here. Feels so nice and warm. Big inhale, reach it up. Exhale, curl that knee in. Keep it high. Inhale it up. Exhale, draw it forward. Pause. And then you just kind of step the best you can to that thumb. Make your way up to Crescent Lunge. Take a moment to refine it. If your feet are too far away from each other here, you might feel a little less stable, so you could always take a shorter lunge there. We'll bring the arms forward. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, curl it in. Maybe just dream into the cape here. Whatever body of water is your thing. Last few. One more. Nice. Let's come all the way back up. Arms draw down. Front spine fires up. 2 breaths here. One more round. Getting ready for side bend. Let's take the left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, reach up and over. Try not to let your knees start to twerk inward. That's something I need to always check in on. Make sure that knee stays straight up and down over the ankle. One more here. Nice. We'll inhale back up. Exhale to runner's twist. Hands come to the front foot. Block maybe under the right hand, and then the left arm reaches up. 4 breaths in and out. 3 more. 2 to go. Last one. Exhale, hand to front foot. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. One more round. All right, before we take a break here, coming to a plank, bend your knees, get ready, inhale. Exhale, lift, roll to plank. Coming into our side plank, we'll drop the heels over to the right. And then peel the left arm open and up. If this is a little too intense today, bottom knee comes down like a little kickstand. This is one of the most challenging poses, and it's one that I tend to see people kind of tremble at a lot. So that's why I'm giving it to you here. A little love for you this morning. One more big breath in. Exhale, roll through center, and then drop the heels to the other side. Peel right arm open and try to keep the hips up as high as they can be. Your focal point can follow your top hand. If you feel like you could reach for the stars, if you feel like you need a little extra help from Mother Earth, look on down. Last breath in. Exhale back to center plank. And we'll drop the knees to the edges of the mat. Big toes touch. Take it back to child's. Oh, that's right. Just enjoy that landing. Let your forehead rest either on the floor, pillow, block somewhere so that it's not hanging in space. Even spread your arms a little wider apart and let the shoulders totally relax. Coming back to breath. If you prefer to just sit back on your heels here to take a break, you can do that instead. I'm going to sneak in a little water break here. You guys can take your water break anytime. Beautiful. So we're trying to allow the breath to kind of slow back down. Deep breaths into your belly. Try to spread the shoulders apart just with the air. And then let that breath back out. Last 3. Last 2. And one more here. Okay, let's come back up onto hands and knees. Curl those toes under, back to tabletop hover. Lift the knees up. Play around a little bit. Press a bit forward and back. Then start to press the hips back a lot. Lift the hips up, and we're back in downward facing dog. Coming to the top of the mat here, bend your knees, look forward. You can walk or try a hop forward. If you hop, you want to try to press the floor away as you hop. That'll slow the feet. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, sweep, rise up. And then the hand will draw into the heart space at the exhale. We will eventually need blocks at the top of the mat if you have blocks with you today. So just get them so that you'll be able to reach them. You can start with them on a high height just so they're easier to grab, and you could always change that up later. We'll begin to balance on the right leg. Hands come to hips here. Start to find that lift and squeeze. And we'll take the left knee up. Flex the left ankle as well. Going to take a breath in. As you exhale, try to kick that foot forward, and it's hard to keep it high. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, kick. I shouldn't say it's hard. I might psych you out. Maybe you don't think it's hard. Maybe it's just me. I'll keep it to myself. The last one. Let's kick and lift. Pause and hold. Big breath. Arms start to reach up, making it a little more intense. Let's fly to airplane. Bend the knees, start to press it back, palms face earth, let your wings spread out. Keep lifting and squeezing that belly in and up to help protect the lower back. If those toes are pointing out to the side, try to internally rotate the legs so they point down. One more breath here. We're going to let that foot land about 2 feet or so back, coming to Parsvottanasana feet. You should still be on train tracks here. So you might need to rearrange. Left toes are pointing as much forward as they can, so everyone will look a little different. Hands start to come to back pockets. Inhale, slide your heart open. Exhale, bow forward. You want to keep a small bend in that front knee. Hips are drawing back, so I actually even use my hands to pull my hips back to remind myself. And then once you get down there, let your hands come down onto those blocks that you have. And you can decide what height feels best. You can begin to tuck your chin in a little bit here if that feels good for you, stretching out the back of the neck. Continuing to try to press the hips back. Right hip might needs to be a little actively more pressed back here. I'm going to try a balance from here, coming into standing split. So we'll inhale to that half lift, wave the spine long. You'll bend both knees, walk your blocks a little forward, lift the back foot up, and the toes again point down, just like they did when we were in tabletop and when we were balancing an airplane. From here, you might start to come down a little bit lower, bowing over the front leg. And for some fun adventure, you might try to balance, bringing one hand to the standing ankle. Some days I can manage 2 hands on standing ankle. Try to firm and squeeze that ankle so it's a little less wobbly. And just another moment here to play around. Putting your hands back on the floor. Inhale back to half lift. Exhale, let your foot land back in runner's lunge. Front knee bends. Back heel will then ground. And we'll cartwheel it up to warrior 2. From here, pick up right toes, pivot on your heel. We're making our way into goddess. I'm just going to pop over here for a sec. They can still see me. So you're going to take your toes out. And just find this squat. Just move a little side to side. You want your knees and your toes to point in the same direction. From here, we're going to make our way into a twist. So just set yourself in the middle. Really kind of drag those knees away from the hips. And then you'll drop your right shoulder in and look over the left. Stay right there. Inhales might create a little space in the spine. And exhale there. 2 more. 1 more. Inhale your way through center unwind. Exhale, other side. Dip the shoulder. 3 breaths in. And out. Mindful breaths. Every inhale you can lengthen a bit. And exhale, maybe hitting a deeper edge. Let's unwind on the inhale. Exhale, press all the way up to rise. Now we'll take the toes to point forward, edges of feet parallel to edges of mat. Big inhale to open up your heart and arms. Exhale, bend your knees. Start to find wide leg forward fold coming on down. You can let your hands rest on blocks here. Some of you like to grab the outer edges of your feet to get a little deeper bend. I like to walk my hands underneath me. Pull my fingers on the floor, almost coming through the legs there. Knees are bent as much as you need. Last 3. If you start to feel a little lightheaded, you can stand up earlier. Just come up super slow. Last breath. Let's start to bring our hands back to half lift. Inhale, walk them forward, unwind the spine. Exhale, hands up onto hips, squeeze belly in firm. And then the next inhale will bring us up to rise. Beautiful. Arms open up back to warrior 2 on right. Pressing into the outer edge of the left foot there. Another breath in and out. Guys look amazing. 1 more. Flip your right hand. Inhale. Reverse your warrior. Stay here. I like to look for the back foot here. That gives my neck a little break. And I feel as though I can open up the ribs more, kind of forgetting about the neck. And on the next exhale, let's hit that extended side angle, bringing your forearm onto the thigh. Other arm reaches actively up to the sky. Maybe working on your half bind today, turn your palm to face behind you. Bend your elbow and take your hand down to the lower back. So again, using that back of the hand on the lower back for a little self-adjustment. I see some full binds in class today. If you want to try your full bind, you're welcome to. It would bring your right hand underneath your thighs. Left hand finds that grip somewhere underneath. And you try to open your way back up. I also see some birds of paradise taking flight in class today. So if that's you, feel free to explore. Last 2 breaths. 1 more. Inhale, sweep up and back, reverse. Exhale, last big push, coming to half moon. Come back towards extended side angle, but find your block. Begin to push off the back foot. I'm going to move my water bottle out of the way so I can put my block in my most optimal position, which is not just in front of the standing foot, but a little bit off to the side. So it's a little bit more off to the right. That gives me a wider base. If half moon is something that you're pretty familiar with, you could always take your hand right in line with the front foot. It is harder for sure. Last breath in. And as you exhale, let's land in forward folds. We'll drop the left foot down. Let yourself just land. Inhale halfway. And exhale, fold a little deeper. 2 breaths here. And one more. I always find it so interesting how different both legs feel. Let's try to even that out. We'll inhale and rise up, sweep up and lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath to prepare here. And release. So we're going to balance on the left here. So take the right leg up. Hands to hips, everything squeezes in. Take a breath in. Exhale, give it a kick. Inhale to bend. Exhale, kick through molasses. Last two. Woo. Last one. Try to kick it out and hold it. Breathe. Arms start to lift. Shoulders draw down. Last breath in. Let's fly. Kick it back. Expand in all directions. There is no rush. Let yourself unfurl slowly, just like a spring flower, taking your time. One more moment here. Land Parsvattanasana, back foot lands not all the way back, 2 feet or so. Hands come around to back pockets. Slide shoulders open, chest open, inhale. Exhale, bow forward with a straight-ish front leg, hips. Draw back. Go ahead and find your blocks if you would like to use them here. Once you get down there, just let your hands release from the back, come to the floor. You can press the top of the mat away or the blocks kind of away from you to try to get a little bit deeper stretch here. Big breaths. And one more round. Okay, let's try that standing split. Inhale halfway. Get your hands on the blocks. They might walk a little forward. Bend your knees. It's a slow launch to lift the leg. Toes point down, everything nice and strong. So you start off in this T position. Then maybe you bow down more. Standing knee might need to bend. Mine definitely needs to bend a bit. You can play with balance, but there is no rush. Maybe bringing 1 or 2 hands onto your standing ankle. If you want to just stay in your Parsvattanasana and keep your leg grounded, this is your time in the room. You do what you like. Hands come back down to the floor if you're balancing. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, try to land the right foot back towards lunge. Heel drops. Open it up to warrior 2. Pick up the left toes, pivot on the heel, 5-pointed star. Skipping our goddess on this side. And just one more. Either keeping your hands interlaced or bringing them to the hips. We're going to inhale, soften knees, and then exhale, press and lift up through front spine to rise. And relax your arms down. Take your block to your foot if you will need it for half moon. I'm going to move mine, but you guys probably are okay. Let's take ourselves to warrior 2 on the left. Left toes point forward. Knee always wants to track the same direction of toes. We're getting a little tired maybe now. Make sure it's not starting to draw in. Really stretch. One more round. Shoulders actively drawn down. Looks great. Flip the front hand. Reverse warrior and stay. Top shoulder draws away from the ear, kind of back into the joint there. Gaze maybe for back foot as you stretch through both rib cages here. One more round. Exhale, extended side angle. Reach as much as you can. Turn palm to face behind. Palm comes to the lower back. If you want to add half bind, of course, you can keep reaching up or to the ear. If you're trying full bind, left arm underneath the thigh. Right hand tries to clasp under, and then you try to unwind. Take it to your bird of paradise if you're in class, and that's where you want to be today. Totally cool. Gazing for the sky, the side, or the floor. Let's begin to release binds if you have it. As you're ready, arm up. Inhale, sweep up and back. Here's our last hurrah moment. Exhale, extended side angle into half moon. Find your block. Press away from the floor with the standing leg. Toes try to point forward if they can. Hands welcome to come off the mat. A lot of energy in your lifted toes here. Big breaths. Last few. One more. Last inhale. Exhale, land in forward fold. Put your foot down next to the other and just come on down. Take a breath in and out. One more round. Okay, let's inhale to half lift. Start to walk your feet out a little wider. We're coming into Malasana, or a deep squat, starting to sit the hips down. Your feet can be as wide apart as they need to be. If you're pretty comfortable, try to take your palms together, elbows into the knees. You could always sit on several blocks, or even just be a little higher. Maybe you're here, totally fine, whatever works for you. For those of you that would like to try to go even deeper, fingers reach forward like little froggy. I always think of a frog. I guess you could think of a spider or something else. Really grip and pull the hips back if that works. Wherever we are, we breathe. Getting comfortable with being a little uncomfortable. Last 2 breaths in and out. If you need to come out earlier, it's all good. Last one. If you were reaching forward, begin to walk your hands back in. Place your hands down. Inhale, lift the hips, pivot the heels out. Exhale, softly fold. Inhale, halfway, hands to shins. Exhale, hands plant. We're coming back to downward facing dog. Let's stretch long through the whole body. One more here. Let's take an inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, pick up, roll into plank, and coming to forearm plank. Drop yourself down onto one forearm and then the other. If you want to drop your knees as you find your way there, totally fine. They might stay dropped. It's a lot of work, even with knees down, wherever you need to be. Squeeze your glutes. Try not to let the hips pick up like in down dog, but definitely don't let them drop down and put pressure on the spine. Find that Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Pelvic floor squeezes in. Lower belly lightly draws up and in. Last 4. Last 3. Maybe finding a little sawing motion, rolling forward and back on your toes for your last round of breath here. Woo! And then we'll come all the way down. Let the hips drop. We're going to come into Sphinx first, so we'll keep the elbows down. Fingers press into the ground, and you kind of lift your head up out of your neck, and lift low belly in and up as well. So you're trying to lift your belly off the ground with those deepest core muscles. One more round here, and then we're just going to let ourselves come all the way down. Look one way, arms rest alongside. I always like to windshield wiper out the legs here, so if you want to give that a go, just bend your knees and just let them roll a little side to side, feet kind of flop in the breeze. Sometimes I like to make little half circles, swinging them long into one side. We'll stay here for a little bit longer, so you can just flip your head the other way to evenly stretch out your neck. We're going to make our way into a quadricep stretch from here. I'm going to take my mic off so I don't crunch it. I'd like you to roll over onto your side. So I find that taking our quad stretches on the side allows us to move our pelvis into the best position to get into the quads. So lower leg is just however it wants to be. Pick up the top foot and pull the heel in. Now you could just rest your head down on your arm or hold it up in your hand. Even take a block underneath. Start to squeeze the pelvic floor up a bit and kind of curl and tuck the tailbone and bring your knees slightly forward. So you should feel strong in the lower back, no pinchiness there. Then from there you can start to kick the knee back a little, but keep the pelvic floor engaged. That's going to get more into the quad and less into the lower back. As you stay here for several breaths, you play around with your leg, unless you've already found that sweet spot and you want to just stay in it, but allow yourself to explore the body here. Just taking time out to find you. Mind is just on breath, sensation. Last two. And last one. Okay, so release that foot. Now we're just going to roll on over to the other side here and just do the other leg. Just make yourself as comfortable as you can be. Once you grab your foot and you're comfortably laying down, propped up on your hand or however you like, again, kind of tuck the tailbone under, bring the knee a bit forward, back off the lower back, then keeping that, start to let your knee lengthen away from you rather than trying to necessarily pull it behind you. And we'll be here for another 4 long breaths. Three more. And just enjoy the stillness. And one more breath. When you're ready, you'll release your foot. Lay back down onto your belly here. And we're going to make our way into a few back strengtheners. So taking your hands right under the shoulders. I like to curl my toes under, walk my hips a little bit more out of the joint with that action, then place the tops of the feet back down. Let's come up to cobra here. Take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, lift up. So we're keeping the belly, belly can lift if you can, but you want to internally lift it in. Elbows stay bent. They're drawing in. You can pull up as much as you can, but as soon as you feel the lower back start to get a little testy, you're going to back off or just pull more forward. Last 2 breaths here. One more. Maybe inhale, press up just slightly higher. Exhale, lower down. Take a break, cheek down, arms lengthen. Now we'll just turn the palms to face down, forehead to earth or chin to earth. Flying into our airplane on our bellies, take a breath in. Exhale, open up and expand the fingers and toes. 4 breaths here. 3 more. 2. 1 more full breath in and out. Inhale to fly higher. And exhale, land, face faces the other way. That was our last one. You can bend your knees, flip-flop the feet. 2 breaths here. One more. Let's revisit child's pose. Let's see if it's more comfortable now. Hips should be a lot more open than they were. Our first child's pose. Big toes can touch, knees can spread wide, and you're just going to let your hands reach forward here. Taking big breaths in and out. I'm trying to soften the chest and the heart. Got a little side bend in here. Let's start to walk the hands over to the right. And you can walk them right off your mat. And then crawl your left fingers a little longer, just kind of creeping on the ground. Pull a little bit so you can try to get the stretch to go all the way down through the upper arm, shoulder, across the ribs, maybe even getting down towards the hip there and lower back. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Let's walk through center. Inhale. Exhale. Walk other side. Really pull with the right hand. Breath in. And out. And in. And out. One more round here. Let's bring our hands back up towards the center. Come up onto hands and knees, and then we'll just roll over onto our backs. Once you get there, let your knees come up towards the chest. This is going to bring a little more weight onto your body. You can either wrap your arms around the shins, or if it feels better to just hold on to the knees, you can do that instead. I'm going to rock a little from side to side here, taking deep breaths. One more. Coming to bridge, we'll drop the feet to the shoulders under for support. You want to press up strongly, but try to release the front body. So we want the hip flexors to really get a nice stretch here. Quadriceps are working a little bit, but it's mostly glutes and hamstrings that are holding you here. So try to relax the quads just a little if you can. Either staying just where you are, or for one last little bit of challenge here, we're going to take the right leg and lift it up to the sky, just a maybe. One more breath in. We're making our way to figure 4. If your leg is lifted, cross the ankle over on top now. And now we'll all lower our hips. If you had 2 feet down, go ahead and lift your right foot up. Cross it over on top of the opposite leg here. We'll start off with some spinal traction, taking the hands right to the tops of the thighs. You want to press away towards the crease of the hip, so you're pressing the pelvis. Not necessarily just the legs, but we're trying to help find some space in the lower back. You can take another breath or so, and then either continuing with that action in the hands, allowing the hands to just rest and totally relax the upper body. Or I like to interlace my fingers behind the left thigh and then take the little pigeon legs into the chest. I think it feels lovely to invite small circles here, so I tend to circle my knee outwards and in first a couple times, and then I'll go the other way a couple times. So I encourage you to just explore your poses and where you are on any day. Every single day is a new day. We'll stay here for another 3 breaths. You can choose to find them in stillness or a little bit of a movement. Just one more here. All right, if you lifted your left foot up off the ground, push it back down to earth. Both feet will ground. Now we'll make our way up for our second bridge as you're ready. So make sure your feet are in a good position for your body, hands alongside. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, curl and lift. Shoulders once again walk under. Another little trick I like is to slightly lower the hips, scoop pelvic floor, low belly, and then actively press back up, keeping the low belly scooped in. I find I can get higher with a happier lower back that way. Last 2. For our last few breaths, either staying where you are or lifting the left leg up and pressing the sole of the foot to the sky, pressing the foot on the ground a little bit more actively, getting ready for figure 4. If leg is lifted, cross it over now. Exhale, everybody lowers hips. If both feet stayed grounded, take this time to now take your left ankle over on top of the right leg. Spinal traction will come in first. That's a nice release after bridge. Pressing the tops of the legs. Feel free to side out a little bit here and make some noise if you need to, if you want to, right? Well, we've got just about 5 more breaths to go, so you might start to interlace fingers behind the right thigh. Draw the legs in and invite those little circles if you were enjoying that. Giving yourself some time to circle both ways. And at some point, you'll find your way into stillness and you'll just stay for another 3 breaths or so. Finishing up your last round. And we'll gently make our way down, putting both feet to the floor. Let's now take the soles of the feet together for our recline bound angle. Both knees open up to the side. Hands can come right alongside you with the palms up. Maybe taking a moment to walk the shoulders down a little further from your ears. Deep breaths in, fill your belly and start to move on up. And then we'll exhale from the ribs down to the belly. Inhaling long, slow breaths from belly on up. And release. We'll practice some calming Dirga breaths here. It's a fluid 3-part breath. The inhale will start to fill the belly, move on up towards low ribs, expanding into the heart and chest. And it just lowers, and the low belly will just kind of fall down at the very end. And we'll get 4 more. Another thing I like to do sometimes is to reach the arms behind my head. You can even grab opposite elbows to stretch out the shoulders. It can be nice to bring the arms up. It can feel cooling for your body here. And take our last breath or so. All right, let's make our way into an inversion. Nice, beautiful waterfall this morning. So we'll start to come out of our recline bound angle. Take your feet to the floor. Grab your block if you have it. If you don't have a block, you can just keep your hips on the floor, no problem. You'll lift your hips up, place your block,
just under your sacrum. That's right in between the waist and the tailbone. It's the flat part there. Once you put yourself on their block, you should feel zero pressure at all on your low spine. If you do, just adjust it. From here, we'll just lift the feet up to the sky, one at a time. Sometimes I like to bring a little movement into the ankles first, or even kind of flick and shake out my feet. Just aiding my inversion along, kind of shaking the blood down from the legs. I just like the way that feels. And then after a moment or two, you let yourself enjoy the stillness here. I will just take some breaths in and out. If you are enjoying your Dirga Pranayama, you could continue it here. It's one of the best breaths, one of my favorites. Because not only can it just instantly make me feel more calm, but it also helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the one that really can help take care of you. Your rest and repair system. Delivering oxygen and fresh nutrients to all the cells of the body. We'll take another 3 or 4 breaths. Last few here. And one more. And when you're ready, you'll start to come down. Just let your toes come to the floor. Lift yourself up and off your block. Set it to the side. Let's hug the right knee into the chest, interlacing fingers on shin. And then stretch the left leg out super long. Trying to see how much distance we can create between the legs here. And really try to compress the wind from your chest here in your wind removing pose. Right arm reaches out to the right. Palm can come down to help you stay steady. Bring your left hand to the right knee. And then allow the knee to cross the body as you roll to the side and enjoy a nice twist. Maybe you turned your closed eyes to face your extended hand. One more here. Whenever you're ready, we'll unwind. Switch sides, left knee actively in, right leg actively straight. Interlace your fingers on your shin. Give your knee squeeze up there, compressing the head leg down into the chest. One more. Good, let's twist it out. Left hand reaches left, right hand. We'll just gently help that knee cross over, rolling over onto your side. Big breaths. You can keep your hand on your knee, or if you want to stretch your hand out long, all good, right? One more. And we'll make our way now to Shavasana, unwind. Either putting both feet on the floor again with the knees bent, maybe feet wider than hips width so they can gently knock in. There's this little hover point where they just stay on their own with no effort. It might be more helpful to continue to breathe mindfully throughout your final rest here. Or with practice, you might be able to release effort in breath and try to increase the length of time in between those thoughts. We don't want to try to control the thoughts necessarily, but instead just trying to find some quiet. And if the thoughts come or the emotions come, that's great. It gives us time to kind of see them, maybe in a different light. See them not from an anxious place, but just from this more calm, peaceful place. And those thoughts or emotions might start to feel a little different as we approach them differently. We'll just allow ourselves to be open and curious and at ease, and absorbing all the beautiful benefits of your practice. Enjoying these last few moments here and now. Nowhere else to be. Over your next few breaths, you begin to take deeper breaths in and out, filling up the belly and moving slowly on up through the lungs. Over time, increasing the capacity of the lungs so that each breath you take delivers more beautiful healing oxygen into your body. You might start to bring some small movement into toes and fingers. Maybe the wrists and ankles begin to stir a bit, or the head might rock a little side to side. Give yourself permission to stay reclined for the remainder of class. If you would like to take your final Om in a seated position, then you'll, in your own time, start to draw the knees in. Give yourself that last hug if you're going there. And at some point, you roll over off to your side and use your hands to press yourself back up to a seat. If your eyes opened as you made that journey, once you find yourself in your final place, you will again close the eyes. We'll all reconnect to our heart centers, taking the right hand over the heart, left hand over the right. Feeling your beating heart, connecting to the you that's inside. Let that you shine to everyone you meet today. Let's find our Om here. Big breath in to prepare. And let it go. Inhaling for Om. Let's join our hands to prayer, palms pressed together, thumb knuckles to third eye. I thank you all so much for being here with me this morning. It's truly an honor to be here with you. The love and the light in me honors that beautiful love and light in all of you. With honor, let's close with the word, namaste. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Beautiful job. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.